Zimmers, the Deep-Sea Guardian origin story. Zimmers wasn't always a superhero. He was once an ordinary explorer, leading a team of deep-sea researchers to investigate mysterious signals emanating from the Mariana Trench. What they discovered was beyond anything they could have imagined: a massive, ancient alien shipwreck, surrounded by the remnants of a long-lost civilization. But the ship wasn't abandoned. It was infested by 10 megalodons, colossal prehistoric sharks that had somehow been revived or mutated by the ship's alien technology. During the confrontation, Zimmers was accidentally exposed to the ship's energy core, which granted him extraordinary abilities. He became the first human capable of surviving the crushing pressures of the deep ocean, breathing underwater, and harnessing the ship's advanced alien technology. With these powers, he defeated the megalodons and claimed the ship as his base of operations. Now, as Zimmers, he protects the oceans from unseen threats, using his newfound abilities to fight for the preservation of Earth's most unexplored frontier. Abilities: Aquatic adaptation. Zimmers can survive extreme underwater pressures and breathe underwater indefinitely. Super strength. Enhanced strength from the alien energy, allowing him to battle massive sea creatures. Alien tech mastery. He wields weapons and tools from the alien ship, including energy blasters, a protective force field, and a deep-sea propulsion system. Aquatic telepathy. Zimmers can communicate with marine life, forming alliances with creatures of the deep. Mission: Zimmers patrols the oceans, safeguarding them from threats like pollution, illegal deep-sea mining, and awakened ancient sea monsters. He also investigates the origins of the alien ship, unraveling the mysteries of its creators and the secrets it holds. Nemesis: the megalodons were only the beginning. Zimmers soon discovers that the alien ship's crash may have awakened even deadlier creatures, and the technology he wields could attract the attention of those who want to exploit it for their own gain. This setup could serve as the foundation for an exciting superhero saga, blending elements of sci-fi, environmentalism, and adventure. What do you think? Would you like to expand on any part of the story? Absolutely. Let's dive deeper, pun intended, into Zimmers' world, expanding on his character, the alien ship, and the challenges he faces. Here's a more detailed exploration: the alien ship. The Abyssal Ark. The crashed ship, dubbed the Abyssal Ark, is a marvel of alien engineering. Its sleek, biomechanical design suggests it was once a vessel of immense power, capable of traversing both space and the ocean depths. The ship's core contains a mysterious energy source known as echolith, a glowing, pulsating crystal that seems to be alive. It was the echolith that mutated the surrounding marine life, including the 10 megalodons, giving them enhanced size, strength, and aggression. Zimmers discovered that the echolith was not just a source of power but a sentient entity, one that chose him as its guardian. It communicates with him through visions and whispers, guiding him to protect the oceans and prevent the echolith's misuse. The megalodons. The Leviathan Pack. The 10 megalodons were not ordinary predators. They were the result of the echolith's corruption. Each had unique mutations: Abyssus, the Alpha, with razor-sharp teeth and the ability to generate shock waves. Crimson Maw, its blood-red jaws could crush through steel. Thalassa, camouflaged and nearly invisible in the dark depths. Lurk, a silent hunter that could paralyze prey with bioelectric pulses. Brute, the largest and strongest of the pack, a true leviathan. Shard, covered in crystal growths from the echolith, making it nearly indestructible. Riptide, fast and agile, capable of creating whirlpools. Void Scale, darkened scales absorbed light and energy attacks. Serpentine, long and flexible, it could constrict prey like a snake. Titanic Fang, its teeth were infused with echolith energy, able to cut through anything. Zimmers' first major battle was against the Leviathan Pack. Using the ship's technology and his newfound abilities, he managed to defeat them, but not without sustaining injuries that left scars both physical and emotional. Zimmers' inner conflict. While Zimmers embraces his role as a protector, he struggles with the cost of his transformation. The echolith's energy is slowly altering his body, granting him immense power but also threatening to consume him. He sometimes hears the cries of the megalodons in his dreams, a reminder of the destruction he caused and the responsibility he carries. The Protectors of the Deep Zimmers is not alone in his mission. Over time, he forms alliances with other marine life, including Coralia, a sentient, bioluminescent coral reef that serves as a guide and advisor. Kraken Prime, a massive, intelligent kraken that aids him in battles against larger threats. The Sirens, a group of enigmatic aquatic beings who protect ancient underwater ruins. Together they form the Protectors of the Deep, a coalition dedicated to preserving the balance of the ocean and defending it from external threats. The antagonist Dr. Mara Voss, a marine biologist obsessed with harnessing the echolith's power, even if it means destroying the ocean's ecosystems. The Deep Raider Syndicate, a group of mercenaries and treasure hunters who plunder the ocean for its resources, threatening its delicate balance. The Leviathan King, a colossal sea serpent awakened by the echolith's energy, far more dangerous than the megalodons. Epic moments to explore the Battle of the Trench. Zimmers and the Protectors of the Deep must defend the echolith from an army of mutated sea creatures. The Leviathan King's Awakening. Zimmers faces his greatest challenge yet, a creature that could destroy entire coastal cities. The Siren's Song. Zimmers must navigate a maze of underwater ruins to recover a lost artifact that could save the ocean. The Sacrifice. Zimmers must decide whether to destroy the echolith to save the ocean, even if it means losing his powers. Themes: Environmental stewardship. Zimmers' mission highlights the importance of protecting the oceans and the life within them. Identity and transformation. Zimmers' struggle with his newfound abilities and his evolving humanity. Unity and cooperation. The Protectors of the Deep demonstrate the power of working together to overcome challenges. The alien origins. The Celestial Mariners. The Abyssal Ark wasn't just any alien ship. It belonged to a race known as the Celestial Mariners, an ancient civilization that once thrived on a water-covered planet. These beings were explorers and guardians of aquatic ecosystems across the galaxy. However, their society fell into ruin after they created the echolith, a living energy source meant to heal and nurture life. The echolith, while powerful, proved too volatile and began corrupting their world, forcing the Celestial Mariners to scatter its fragments across the universe. One such fragment landed on Earth, buried deep in the Mariana Trench for millennia until it was accidentally awakened by Zimmers' team. The Abyssal Ark was sent to retrieve the echolith but crashed during its descent, leaving its technology and the echolith itself exposed to the Earth's marine life. Zimmers discovers this history through visions and holographic records aboard the ship, learning that the Celestial Mariner's fate could become Earth's if the echolith is not controlled. This revelation adds urgency to his mission and deepens his connection to the echolith, as he realizes he is not just a guardian of the ocean but also the inheritor of the Celestial Mariner's legacy. Zimmers' relationship with the echolith is both a gift and a curse. It grants Zimmers incredible abilities, but it also exerts a subtle influence over him, tempting him with visions of power and dominance. At times, he feels like he's walking a fine line between heroism and corruption, especially when the echolith's energy surges through him during intense battles. As the story progresses, Zimmers begins to develop a unique bond with the echolith, learning to communicate with it more effectively. He discovers that it is not inherently evil, it is a force of nature, like the ocean itself, capable of both creation and destruction. Together, they form a symbiotic relationship, with Zimmers acting as its steward and the echolith empowering him to protect the oceans. The Leviathan King. A climactic showdown. The Leviathan King is the ultimate threat Zimmers must face. This colossal sea serpent is not just a mutated creature, it's a byproduct of the echolith's corruption, a living embodiment of unchecked power and destruction. The Leviathan King is capable of unleashing tidal waves, summoning storms, and even influencing other marine life to turn against humanity. The climactic battle takes place in the Trench of Titans, a massive underwater canyon near the Mariana Trench. Zimmers and the Protectors of the Deep rally to confront the Leviathan King, but even with their combined strength, they are no match for it. In a desperate move, Zimmers taps into the full power of the echolith, risking his own life to unleash a devastating attack that weakens the Leviathan King. With the help of Kraken Prime and the Sirens, they finally manage to subdue the creature, but at a great cost. The echolith is nearly drained of its energy, and Zimmers is left weakened and vulnerable. Aftermath and future threats. The battle against the Leviathan King leaves the ocean in a fragile state. While the immediate threat has been neutralized, Zimmers knows that the Abyssal Ark's crash has attracted attention from both Earth's surface and beyond. Dr. Mara Voss and other opportunistic factions are already planning to exploit the ship and the echolith, while other fragments of the Celestial Mariner's technology might still be hidden in the depths. Zimmers decides to keep the Abyssal Ark hidden, using it as a sanctuary and a base of operations. He begins training new members of the Protectors of the Deep, including a young marine biologist named Elena Reyes, who is determined to follow in his footsteps. Together, they prepare for the inevitable challenges that lie ahead. Potential story arcs. The echolith's legacy. Zimmers discovers that there are other fragments of the echolith scattered across the globe, each guarded by ancient marine civilizations. He must recover them before they fall into the wrong hands. The Surface's greed, a powerful corporation, begins deep-sea drilling in the Mariana Trench, threatening to awaken another ancient creature. Zimmers must stop them while navigating the moral complexities of protecting the ocean without harming innocent people. The Celestial Mariners return. A surviving Celestial Mariner arrives on Earth, seeking to reclaim the echolith and restore their civilization, even if it means sacrificing Earth's oceans. Zimmers' redemption. Zimmers faces a crisis of faith when the echolith's corruption begins to affect him, forcing him to confront his own inner darkness and choose between power and humanity. Themes reinforce balance, the recurring theme of balancing creation and destruction, both in nature and within oneself. Legacy. Zimmers' role as the inheritor of the Celestial Mariner's legacy and the responsibility it entails. Hope. Even in the face of overwhelming odds, Zimmers and his allies fight to protect the oceans and inspire others to do the same. Character relationships. Zimmers and Dr. Mara Voss. A dangerous rivalry. Dr. Mara Voss is not just a one-dimensional villain. Once a respected marine biologist, she became obsessed with the echolith after losing her family in a deep-sea drilling accident. She blames humanity's ignorance of the ocean for their deaths and believes the echolith holds the key to controlling and taming the ocean's power. Zimmers and Mara have a history. They were colleagues before the accident. Their interactions are tense and emotional, filled with mutual respect but conflicting ideals. Mara sees Zimmers as a hypocrite, wielding the echolith's power while preaching restraint. Zimmers, meanwhile, tries to reach out to her, believing she can be redeemed. This dynamic could culminate in a heartbreaking betrayal or a redemptive sacrifice, depending on how the story unfolds. Zimmers and Elena Reyes. Mentor and protege. Elena Reyes is a young, idealistic marine biologist who idolizes Zimmers. She sees him as a symbol of hope and wants to follow in his footsteps, but she lacks the experience and maturity to handle the immense responsibility. Zimmers becomes her reluctant mentor, teaching her not just about the ocean's secrets, but also about the sacrifices and hard decisions that come with being a protector. Their relationship evolves from mentorship to partnership as Elena proves herself capable, even saving Zimmers in a critical moment. However, her eagerness sometimes leads her into danger, creating tension between them. By the end of the story, Elena could take up the mantle of a protector, ensuring the legacy continues even if Zimmers falls. Zimmers and the echolith. A symbiotic bond. The echolith is not just a power source. It's a character in its own right. It communicates with Zimmers through cryptic visions and emotions, guiding him but also testing his resolve. As the story progresses, Zimmers begins to understand the echolith's true nature. It is a fragment of the Celestial Mariner's collective consciousness, a sentient being that chose him as its host. This relationship becomes central to Zimmers' character arc. Does he fully merge with the echolith, sacrificing his humanity for greater power? Or does he find a way to coexist, maintaining his individuality while harnessing its strength? This internal struggle could parallel his external battles, making his journey deep.